This is Stars and Scopes with your pal Uma Ruby. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, do listen to your rising sign first if you know it, but do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're loving this work and you've got some coins to spare, throw them in the tin over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby and you can buy me a coffee. Okay, let's drop into it. Hello Taurus and Taurus rising. Welcome to your reading for the full moon in Sagittarius, happening on the 14th of June at 9:52 p.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me. Okay, so we've got a lovely, fresh, juicy full moon, one that we can look at and marvel at and work with and commune with and ritualize the experience. We've got a lot of really great potential to let go what we don't need anymore, what's not working for us, back to Luna, and she'll take it. She'll be like, yeah, I hear you. Also, it's a great time for celebration if you're coming to sort of, the end of a cycle and you're celebrating. Like what have you achieved in this time? For you, Sagittarius is 8th house stuff. So this is interesting. 8th house is many different things, but it's kind of the way that we are bound to others in some way. It could be soul contracts, it could be taxes, it could be rental contracts, it could be inheritance, anything that sort of binds our experience to other people and how we're sort of kind of indebted in some ways to other energies, how we sort of are bound in that sense. Maybe that's the word for it. So, great time to let some of this go. Great time to give it back to Luna, what's not working for you, and move on from here. Sagittarius is a lovely energy of learning and striving ahead and traveling and expanding the mind. Sagittarius is like the hippie of Pisces is definitely the hippie, but Sagittarius is also a hippie. No, Pisces is sort of like spook. Anyway, Sagittarius is a hippie. And they love to expand the mind and travel forward and learn about life. So there's something interesting in here. It's nice. That's a nice energy to have for 8th house stuff, because there's that sort of inquisitive nature that you have in regard to some of these more potentially stuffy kind of, let's not talk about it, sort of aspects. So that's the first bit of the reading. I need to talk about some difficult stuff that's happening as well. So I've got the tarot cards pulled out for each of the points in the zodiac that this is all playing out. So we have at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, we have the moon, and that's the 10 of Wands. So that's a card of exhaustion. That's a card of sort of having everything stacked against you, including the odds, and feeling sort of weak at the knees by whatever responsibility it is that you've been dragging around for so long, or whatever project that you've been sort of like giving the Heimlich maneuver to resuscitate. That's that going on there. Maybe 8th house, there could be something there. There could be something that has been difficult for you to let go of, even though like it's long overdue. The sun is at 23 degrees in Gemini. Opposing forces, the sun's shining the light on the moon. You get it. This is the 10 of Swords. Now, this is one of the more difficult cards to work with in tarot. This is a bit of a red flag sometimes when doing readings for the 10 of Swords to come out. It's a real moment to really zone in and to think about thinking too much. That's really the essence of it. The 10 of Swords is the end of a mental cycle, the end of mental anguish. It's sometimes it can be read as betrayal, but that can be a meaning for it. But really, I think it's about the betrayal of oneself. What have you overthought because of anxiety or otherwise into non-existence? So that's the sun. The sun's sort of maybe gently shining a light on these sorts of notions for you at the moment, and being reflected back by this 10 of Wands. So what's exhausting you but is it this? It could be this. It could be that sort of anxiety space. It could be time to seek avenues for healing that. And another thing to talk about is the T-square. So the sun's in Gemini, the moon's in Sagittarius, beautiful, harmonious full moon. Unfortunately, like everything this year, they've formed a T-square with Neptune in Pisces. Now, normally, Neptune's really happy in Pisces. They've been happy as Larry for the length that they've been in there, I think since 2012 or something like that, or maybe longer. I need to look that up. But Neptune is the planet of innovation, but also illusion. It's the sort of the magic of life. So it's the one that has the potential to be deluded or to delude those that it's in company with. So Pisces, I've talked a lot about Pisces for you, Taurus, because there's been so much activity in there. There's been a whole bunch of stuff going on in Pisces this year. Pisces is your 11th house of community or the greater sense of humanity. So think about those words. Think about what the word community means to you, what you've been working with in that Piscean, Neptune, sometimes Jupiter, because Jupiter's going to head back there in that kind of optimism space. What part of that is delusion? And what part of that needs to be revealed by the moon and released and let go of, sent off into the distance? Hello, Sticks. Yep, that's fine. You can do that. Where was I? So illusion and delusion is concepts to sort of mull over in this lunation of what you're going to let go in terms of contracts that bind. Where's the delusion from community coming? What does that mean for you in that space? This is the perfect time to let it go. If it's happening around you, it's not the eclipse axis, which you've had enough to deal with, Taurus. I tell you what, when all of your bloody soul searching, this is a reprieve, but it's also an activation too. Like when these lunations happen, it's a great time to really call it in and to really co-create with what's going on around. There is some positive stuff as well that I wanted to quickly touch on before I go into some intuitive tarot, because this is all part and parcel. This is all God and Dawn wrote this. Everything that I'm talking about, this is all in a manual. You can pick it up and read it. So the moon is in a lovely supportive trine, positive energy, fire on fire, if you think about that, like in terms of family, Sagittarius and Aries. So Mars is in Aries, forming that trine with the moon. So there's something about like the action plan. There's something about the passion in you, about wanting to get this sort of done and getting it to move forward and to spur something on. This is the moon supporting that for you, supporting all of that Mars energy that we've been talking about this last month. The sun is in trine, support, brotherhood, sisterhood with Saturn in Aquarius, who's been giving us jip for this last bit of time. That gag order, those rules and restrictions that have been sort of keeping us lock-lipped, keeping our tongues tied, is in support with the sun. So there's light being shone on the rules on how we get this done. You're sitting on my notes, my darling. Can I? Oh. Yes, lovely. No, I love you as well. So that's the sky. It's all happening. It's all a lot. It's all great energy that we can really work with and call in what we need to and let go of what we don't. So I'm going to, in support of this little journey, I'm going to pull just a couple of quick intuitive tarot cards just to see what Spirit wants to say right here, right now, and see what... Eight of Cups. A moment of walking away from an emotional investment for the next frontier. Justice. That's a lovely major secret. That's a great energy to rely on and to work with and drop into when things are feeling a bit unfair. The judicial system has its own ups and downs. The forces of protection and law have their own ups and downs. This is cosmic law. This is justice. This is the idea that every action has a consequence. And finally, the Five of Cups. Okay, so a moment of grief, emotion, a moment of really allowing yourself some sort of emotional release because you've lost something. There's been a memory of a time of great sadness has come back. So let me look at these three together and relate it to this moon. This investment is something that keeps on coming up in my ear. There's something that you're going to have to walk away from, and it's going to be right into a phase of grief, a phase of loss. Don't feel, I'm going to stop saying don't. You can feel however you want to feel about this. This sucks. I'm really sorry that you're going through this. Know that the honest hand of justice in a cosmic sense is out to help you and is out to support you through this. Sometimes things in life are incredibly unjust and unfair, and there's no rhyme or reason to that. There's what we're living through right now is a perfect example of that sentiment. There's so much mania going on right now. There's so much that's happening and being voiced and being experienced across the world that just seems so unfair. And so in these moments, it's really kind of difficult to be like, oh, love and light, the cosmic overlord will make it so. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there is a space within you that can find this balance through this difficulty. I think when we think of temperance, I'll get her again. Temperance doesn't say don't do it. Temperance is about balancing the fire, the passion, the rage sometimes, with the emotions, with the water, with the love, and with the sadness. So you're not being told not to do either thing in this reading. You are completely entitled to both states of being. Justice is here to give yourself a reprieve from trying to do the right thing. If that makes sense, it's to give you a reprieve from the control. Sometimes in life, we just got to let it go. We've just got to let go. If that's at losing our shit, if that's, breaking something or crying or screaming, let it go. You don't have to, in that way, always hold the balance of life's to's and fro's and pains and sorrows. You don't have to do that all the time. Bless you, Taurus, because you want to. You embody that. You want to make everyone feel secure and safe. But allow this bit of time, allow this moon maybe to let Mars allow you to blow a gasket, maybe privately or publicly. I hope that wasn't too vague, but I think that's what I'm feeling for this, Taurus. And yeah, like the 8th house stuff, that the contracts, things that bind us, the law, something to do there with the justice. It's not fair is the sense I'm getting from this reading. And you're right, it's not. It's fucked. And I love you. Take care. Full moon blessings. It might be a bigger one than we had anticipated for you, Taurus. Sorry, I thought this was going to be, oh, thank God, eclipse season is gone. Maybe not. There's bigger fish to fry here. There's important stuff that you've got active control in releasing. So do it. Head to my website if you'd like a personal reading. I've just put up a new menu of hot suggestions for you. More tailored specific readings that I've been working with that have been really great, and really a lot has come from them. When I mix tarot and astrology together, beautiful things can happen. I'm rapidly becoming aware. Also, you can throw me a tip at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby if you'd like to. If you're listening to this on Spotify, head over to YouTube and watch it all happen live in front of a live studio lounge room with a cat. Other than that, I love you. I'll see you in 2 weeks for the new moon in Cancer, when we can start to manifest from our emotional space, from our love. That'll be great. That'll be much needed. Love you. Take care. Bye.